Hey folks, quick disclaimer about Greasy Says, my new show about being a game developer for 15 years who's brown. Okay, Greasy Says contains explicit language, adult situations, and viewer discretion is strongly advised. Right? Greasy Says is supposed to be a comedic take on what it's like to be in the gaming industry from my perspective, but I'm not out here trying to make people feel uncomfortable just for the sake of it. So, to sum it up, I have a potty mouth. Don't let your kids listen to this shit. And kings and queens above 18 only. Let's try that. All right? Lay is...
Haha, let's get this party started.
High def with the professional.
Greasy Says.
Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Isn't that a weird thing to say? Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I feel like that's like when you say that shit, it's like you did see me there and you're trying to act like you didn't see me there. You're trying to be aloof is what you're doing, right? Like that's a classic dude who's interested in girl or person who's interested in person but doesn't want to act like they're interested so that they keep a little air of mystery around them. They'll say some shit like that, like, oh, I didn't see you there. I didn't know you knew Paul or whatever. Like, I didn't know you were at this party too. When you know damn well you was fucking stalking their Instagram. You knew exactly where they were going. They was gonna be at that party, or they was gonna be at that gathering. And you're lying, but you're trying to look cool. But it is effective and it is useful. I mean, because for real, isn't it more interesting when someone doesn't seem as interested in you? If someone's coming up to you and being like a puppy dog, like, hi, what you doing? Good to see you. What's going on? Let's hang out. You get kind of like, can you give me a little space? Can you back it up just a tad? Can you give me 6 feet? Can you give me COVID links? But if somebody's like mad aloof and you can't even catch their fucking eye contact, and you're attracted to them, you're gonna try even harder. You're gonna try to come up with games to play and ways to finagle and slither your way in there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, no one has told me that in a long time. Didn't expect to see you here. I haven't heard that phrase. Or I didn't see you there, sorry. I haven't heard that phrase in forever because no one cares about where I am at any point, right? Except maybe like people who are trying to collect money or my family who needs something from me. Otherwise, no one cares what I'm doing, where I am, who I am. Nobody finds me attractive anymore. I'm a dad. No one gives a fuck about dads, okay? Once you're a dad, it's a wrap. Oh, do you hear that banging in the background? You hear that? Yeah. That's my life right now. I got renovations going on at my house right now. So this is how I have to record the podcast. I'm sorry. Is the audio quality bad? Well, too fucking bad. This is my life. You're getting my life real hand. You wanted the real Greasy experience? This is the real Greasy experience. Overpaying for contractors who hammering while you're trying to record a podcast. That's just life. That's just life for me right there. All right, so we're going to deal with this hammer. We're going to deal with some sawing. We're going to deal with some drilling. Who knows what could happen? I got green plastic all over my floors, trying to protect my floors. The contractor's doing a great job. He's trying to protect my stairs and my wooden floors. I appreciate that. But I'm basically walking around on bubble wrap. Every time I gotta go down the hall, or my kid gotta go down the hall, it's pop, 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 pop. Boy, it's like my whole house been bubble wrapped. Sound fun for like 5 minutes. Or if you're a toddler, if you're trying to get shit done, it's a little inconvenient. Welcome back to Greasy Says. Here we are once again, episode 6 of season 3. Wow, I'm really behind. I don't know how I'm going to hit 20 by the end of the year. It has been a wild year. A lot of things have happened. The podcast has been kind of sporadic, chaotic. I hope y'all still enjoying it. I'm still seeing y'all coming out and listening, so you must be. I apologize if the cadence of episode releases are not up to snuff, not up to par, not up to expectations, but such is life. We keep it moving. This is Greasy Says. This podcast is about me, Greasy, right? I'm a game developer for 16 years. Okay, I've been making games a long time. I'm still making games. And this is my take on whatever's happening right now in the gaming industry. You heard, and you know what's happening a lot right now for me? More of that Diablo 4. I just beat it last night with my first character. Quote unquote beat it. I mean, get through the all the cinematics is what I should really say, because the game never fucking ends. It's just like, oh, you finished the game. Here's a bunch of new stuff you could do. It's a huge game. So I started a new character. I finished the game with a Druid. Okay, I picked a Druid. I had never seen that class before. It looked interesting. I'll tell you about it in a second. But then for this next playthrough, I'm playing as a rogue. I wanted to flip it completely. I want to be super fast, in and out. And so far, it's pretty fun. I only played like less than an hour last night as the rogue. But I love that move where you like stick a knife in a motherfucker and then you run away. And then the knives come back to you and they slice through everybody that's in your way. That move is so dope. I'm loving it. But speaking of Diablo, I listened to the Brian Simpson podcast. If you've never checked it out, Brian Simpson is a comedian. He's hilarious. He has one mini special on, I don't know if you could call it special, but it's like a group of comedians did one big show called, what the fuck is it called? Now I gotta look it up. Oh, it's called The Stand-Ups. Yeah. So there's a show called The Stand-Ups on YouTube,
Netflix,
which feature 5 comedians in a season or whatever. And he's on one of them. That's probably the easiest way you'll see him, or you could just go on YouTube and find his stand-up. Hilarious dude. He has great takes, and a very interesting past. He just makes for a good comedian, good storyteller. And I listened to his podcast, which is called BS with Brian Simpson. And he's an avid gamer, a super big nerd. And he was saying that he's also playing as the Druid. And he said that the Druid was undercooked, in his opinion, meaning like the sort of the zazz, you know what I'm saying? The visual flash, the feedback, sort of the impact of playing as a Druid is not as good as it feels for all the other characters. And he was saying, it's because the Druid was like a new class. It was one of the last classes they built, so they kind of phoned it in. I don't know if I agree with that, Brian. I don't think so. Because I played the Druid for a while. I think I like a level 50 something Druid. And I mean, I'm with you. Like, some of the passive effects aren't like super flashy, but you can make the Druid feel and look powerful as fuck.
how?
All right, peep, right? You're playing the Druid. Forget werewolves, forget werebears, forget the werewolf familiars or summons and they hang out next to you and attack shit. Forget all that. Check my build, all right? Pure, except for the swarm of crows and the occasional crows diving down and like pecking people. That's one of my skills. I'm like entirely nature magic. That's how you play the Druid, in my opinion, to make it feel crazy powerful and make it feel crazy impactful. Because I have a skill, right? Where it's a legendary skill on one of my weapons or some shit, where if you attack with an earth skill, your next storm skill does more damage. And then when you attack with a storm skill, your next earth skill does mad damage. So I'll just be rolling through a park full of motherfuckers, demons, whatever, and just alternating left click, right click. Earth skill, lightning. Earth skill, lightning. Throw a boulder at their ass, more lightning. And it feels so cool and it feels so crazy because all you're doing is just standing there being like, bah, boo, bah, 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 bah. Anybody getting near you, knock them back with the boulder. You feel invincible. I killed Lilith in like, a few minutes. She was so easy when I got to her with this level of Druid. So I disagree, Brian. I disagree. That's some BS. Nature build Druid is crazy. I don't know. He will probably never listen to this. You'll never hear this. But the nature build is crazy. All right? Try it out. So the other night, I was feeling nostalgic. I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood to watch some new shit because I was watching the Witcher series and that was cool. And then I was watching Mandalorian, the latest season, and I hit an episode where I was like, yo, is this shit starting to suck? Is the Mandalorian starting to suck? I really hope not, because I really like that series. But it's starting, this one episode I watched, I was like, it's starting to feel like a toy commercial. I don't know. It's starting to feel like Empire, man. I'm not Empire. My bad. It's starting to feel like Jedi, man. It's a toy commercial wrapped up as a movie, masquerading as a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm on the lookout, man. I'm on the lookout. Anyway, I rewatched Leon the Professional. Now, you might be a youngster. I don't know how many youngsters listen to this shit, but I am assuming some do. And if you're a youngster, you might not know what The Professional is. The Professional is a goddamn classic. Well, so I thought. About an assassin. This dude who I feel like he's autistic or he has some kind of mental disability or some shit. And he's a hired killer, solo hired killer. And he meets this little girl in his apartment complex who has an abusive dad and a shitty life. And basically he through a series of events, he takes her under his wing and like is her protector or whatever, right? I always thought The Professional was one of the most fire movies just made by Luc Besson, who also made The Fifth Element, another classic, goddamn classic. But I started watching Leon with my old brain on, right? I watched it back when in my 20s and shit, right? But now I'm watching it in my 40s and shit, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, this movie feel kinda molesty though. I don't mean to make nobody feel uncomfortable. I'm just saying it how I saw it. Okay? There's a little girl. She has a damaged life. She's scarred. She's a little kid. And then here comes this kind of weird, quiet, borderline creepy dude who kills people for a living. It just feels weird. I was watching it and I was like, this feels weird. Even with Gary Oldman's incredible performance that pulls you away from that main story and puts you into the sort of in the shoes of a psycho cop, drug addict, fucked up psycho cop. When you go back to that Leon and whatever the little girl name is, relationship, and he drinking milk and all this shit, it's just fucking weird. It's fucking weird. Okay, so Leon the Professional has just entered the creepiest fuck area of movies from my past, which I'm like, is this actually a good movie or did I just miss some mad obvious shit back in the day? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I brought it up, but I thought about it and I was like, I gotta talk about this on the podcast to see if anybody else watched Leon the Professional again and felt like, ugh. Reach out to me, Greasy Says, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or greasysays@gmail.com and let me know if you thought that shit was creepy if you watched it. It's on Netflix, I think. It just popped back up on Netflix. So you could watch that shit. Watch the first 20 minutes and then get back to me and be like, what's the vibe? What is the vibe? You feel me? I don't know. Anyway, glad to be back. Let's kick off this thing. Remember, you can always follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, under Greasy Says. You can check out my music under MQ, M-CUE. That's on Spotify, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, etc. Get the streams up, like, subscribe, do all that shit. Send me a little heart. Click on a heart on some of my shit. Let me know that you out here listening and you care about your boy, all right? Yeah, let's kick it off. I've talked about this before. I've talked about the power of saying no. And more as I get more experience and as I'm in the industry longer and as I work longer and as I'm on this planet longer, the value of saying no increases over time for a bunch of reasons, but for the main reason is because of time. As you get older, as you move on in your career, time becomes even more valuable. As you become a family person, your time becomes even more valuable. As you start to figure out that life isn't just about work or fucking or drugs or getting to the next thing, you realize that time is almost worth more than money. Right? Like somebody might offer me a gig or be like, yo, I'm going to pay you for this amount of your time. And I will seriously weigh that. Like, I'll seriously be like, yo, is my time? Is that hour of my time? Can you even put a price on it? Like the hour I can take to like go to the beach and reset my brain and just feel at peace for an hour. Is that worth whatever price tag that person is putting on that hour? Let's say it's $100. Let's say it's $200. Let's say it's $1,000. You know what I mean? Depending on your state of mind, does your time have a price tag? I say sometimes it doesn't. I say sometimes my time is priceless. You know what I mean? So that always leads me to say no when I don't want to use my time for something other than myself or whatever I have planned for my time. Because people will steal, borrow, buy, sell your time. People will do all kinds of things with your time. And people really don't give a fuck about your time. People give a fuck about their time. Their time is important, but most people don't give a fuck about your time. Right? They'll take it up with talking to you, with problems they have, with shit they want you to do. They'll completely abuse your time if you're not careful. So in today's reflection, I'm like just thinking about saying no and ways to say no and situations in which you would say no and how those things can really benefit you as a dev, as a professional, as a human being. So at work, right? We're working on a game. It comes down from on high, executive level, leadership level, managerial level, whatever. That something needs to be done you don't agree with. Or you not even that you don't agree with it, but like that's one aspect, right? Is you could not agree with it and you could be like, yeah, I don't really want to do that for this and this reason. But it could also be something that is completely out of scope and is ridiculous, but the people higher than you have no fucking clue how long something like this takes. Like, for example, like somebody's like, we really want 2 more characters because marketing thinks that having 2 additional characters will really make this thing pop. Really make this game pop to have these 2 additional characters. And then it trickles down to the dev team, and the dev team is like, yo, it's going to take this many hours to concept the characters. Then we got to model them. Then we got to rig them. Then we got to animate them. We got to do all the cloth physics, all this shit. Then we got to do voiceover for these characters. We got to do facial animations for these characters. We got to do all this shit. We got to find the right voice actors, all this casting, all of this stuff. Mocap if that's necessary, etc. And all of a sudden, this really simple idea of like, just add 2 characters. It's no big deal. Becomes like, oh, you want that? You want those 2 characters? It's going to cost you $2 million in terms of time and development effort and bodies in the room. And that's a very effective way of saying no to higher ups, to executives, to managers, to people who may not understand what it's like being on the ground level in the trenches actually making stuff. You have to help them understand. So I've found in the past that that's a very effective way to say no to someone is you don't actually use the words no, but you say no with creative politically savvy and data-driven responses. You don't say no with your words, you say no with data. You say no with consequences. Because a CEO who wants 2 characters because marketing told them so, and they discover this shit costs $2 million to make, will say no to themselves because they understand the consequence. So explaining consequences to people can often result in the same, it can give you the same result as just telling them no, but with less bad blood. Because when you tell somebody no, it rubs them the wrong way. You try telling a toddler, no, you can't do that. They're going to freak out and be like, what? No, give me. Like my son does it all the time. Be like, no, you can't do that. And be like, what? You know what I mean? Start crying, pulling on the thing, throwing a tantrum, throwing shit all over the place. He's crazy with that right now, by the way. He throws things all the time. I'm like, dude, I understand. I'm the same way. I'm right there with you. I get where the rage comes from. It comes from in here. I get it. You're part me. I understand. But like, don't destroy your stuff, my guy. I gotta work on that. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. Yeah, right. Yeah, but if I tell my son, explain to my son if he has the capacity to even hear what I'm saying, and I explain to him the reasoning behind no, instead of just saying no, I say, I understand that you really want this thing. But if you grab the fork and stick it in the fucking outlet, you're going to die. And then Papa's going to be really sad. And then he gets it. And he's like, Papa will be sad. And he doesn't want that. And he doesn't want to die, even though he doesn't know what that means. But the look on my face says it's bad news. So I told him no without ever using the word no. Very, very, very effective shit. Works on toddlers, works on CEOs. I'm telling you. Very powerful skill. And secondly, thirdly, thirdly, wherever we're at, as a professional, right? As a professional. And even in your personal life, if you say yes to everything, then where are your limits? You know what I mean? You know that friend or that family member who anytime anyone calls on them, needs something from them, whatever, they always there. They're always saying yes. They're always down to help. I wonder what those people feel like when they get home or when they're done. Do they feel filled up or do they feel depleted? Because if you're saying yes to everything, you know what I mean? Like if my cousin comes and he's like, yo, I need you to do this thing. I'm like, yeah, sure. And then my uncle comes and he's like, I need you to do this thing. I'm like, all right, sure. And then my wife comes and she's like, I need you to do this thing. I'm like, oh, all right, I don't have a lot of time, but I'll try. Yeah, I'll do that. And then my son comes and he's like, I need this thing. And I'm like, sure. And then, whatever comes and I say yes. And you want new renovations on your house? Yeah, sure. Let's do that too. Eventually, you end up backed into a corner. All of your time has been spent for you, right? And you have basically no control of your own shit anymore. You have no limits. Everyone has taken your time away from you. Everyone has taken that value away from you. All because you chose to say yes. So saying yes can actually be detrimental to you as a professional and as a person. Because yes means yes to someone else means no to you, usually. Means you have to sacrifice something in order to give that person that yes. And is that sacrifice really worth your time? Is it worth your mental space? Is it worth your health? I don't know. It's a skill. It's a skill. Saying no is a skill. Saying yes is also a skill. Yes with limits. But it's a skill that you need to sharpen. You need to refine over time. It takes time. It takes experience. I hate to say it. There's a lot of smart young people out there, but you're not going to get this coming straight into the gaming industry, coming into any industry, coming into the professional world. You're not going to get this out the gate. You're going to be eager to please. You're going to want to crush it. You're going to want to go 110% just to show your worth, just to make sure your career is on track, just to get ahead. I get that. But with time, when you feel that bitterness start to build up and you feel that anger and you're like, these motherfuckers always asking me for shit. No one's appreciating what I'm doing. Go within. look at yourself, become self-reflective, and think about how much you've been saying yes to everybody around you and how little you've been saying no, and how little you've been saying yes to yourself. And you might unlock something there. You know what I mean? And you don't have to be a dick either. Remember that. There's a difference between being a dick and just being assertive. And you could be one or the other. You could be both, but one's going to get you a lot further, both for yourself and for other people professionally. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Greasy says.
What you play, what you play, what you play, what you playing, what are you playing?
What you playing?
I've been playing this old game. It's pretty old. Yeah, I've been playing this old game. You might remember it. It was kind of a sleeper hit, I think. Called My Friend Pedro. It's about a banana and a faceless dude who has guns. I mean, it's basically a quote unquote 2D shooter. It's done in 3D, right? 3D graphics, 3D levels, 3D characters, but you play on a 2D plane. And it's dead simple. It's an action game. You run around killing shit, shooting shit. And it's like kind of full analog control. So you can, one stick controls your movement, the other stick controls where you're aiming. And it, in trailers, it looked awesome. It looked hilarious. It looked very fluid. So I was like, all right, man, I've been watching this game for a long time. I never played it. Let me cop it real quick on the old PS4 Pro. I don't have a PS5. I won't buy a PS5 because there's nothing on it. But, man, my friend Pedro, I am terrible at this game. I suck at this game. I've never gotten a rating higher than a C, except maybe on the motorcycles stage, which you can't even count that stage because it's like the Ninja Turtle. It's like, remember Turtles in Time, the sewer level where you're on the little surfboards. You can't really count that as a real level. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a speed run level. It's like a break. It's like a mini game. I am terrible at this game. I think there's a particular way you're supposed to play it because you're supposed to be almost constantly slowing down time. So you can go into like Matrix time where you can like dodge bullets and line up your shots better and do all kinds of cool stuff. And it's a game it's a score chasing game. Meaning like you're trying to get the highest score in the level by chaining combos. So you kill a guy, you kill the next guy before the timer runs out, you kill the next guy and you stack your combo. I just can't do it. I can't do it, man. I played so many levels. This game has tons of levels. And no matter what I do, I'm just bad at this game. So I give up on trying to be good at this game. I watched the developer play it on like some YouTube video. And it kind of gave me some insight into how you play this game. But I still can't achieve anywhere close to how this dude was playing. It was crazy. The music in it is fantastic. Kind of like industrial, techno, very hard-hitting, aggressive music. It works well with the crazy story and the weird visual style. And it's a good fit. The whole game is sort of ridiculous. It's absurd, You're hallucinating and you think you see a banana that talks to you that's telling you what you should do. But the character himself has no real motivation as far as I can tell so far. I haven't finished it yet, but it's just like, all right, you're here now, start killing stuff, and that's it. I do love some of the UI treatment in this game, though. When you beat a level, they give you a score at the end, obviously, and there's the banana that you talk to makes a different face based on how well you did in the level. And it's really funny, like, it's almost like meme stuff. It's like the more detailed the face they put on the banana, like, means you did even better. So, like, you got a C, which is me most of the time, or a D or whatever, and you get, like, a stupid smile, like, emoji smiley face. But, like, when you get, like, a B or an A or something, it starts looking like, a really well drawn, like, one of those like highly detailed faces that you'll see on like a stupid character when they like, particularly in anime, where they do like or like SpongeBob, where they do like a very highly detailed, almost airbrushed version of like SpongeBob's face in a moment of fear or like embarrassment or disgust or whatever. It's pretty funny. The controls in this thing are floaty as fuck. Personally, I don't think the controls are really that good. And that's probably why I'm not like invested in becoming very good. Like jumping around is a joke. Like it's not really a platformer, even though it has platforming levels. It doesn't play well as a platformer. Your jump is like super inaccurate. The collision is like really floaty. There's a lot of like sort of gimme. There's a lot of like slop in the platforming. So like you'll jump up against a platform and your foot will kind of clip the edge, and you know, in a Mario game you would fall to your death, but in this they kind of just nudge you over the edge, so you're fine. So that it works well in that way, like it benefits you in that way. But in other ways it's like you're trying to jump onto this platform and the controls are so like floaty that you can't pinpoint your landing. You don't know where you're gonna land, and you're gonna kind of slide around. It feels like you're playing an ice level all the time, you know. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. The gun plays decent, but in a game that requires precision aiming, the whole dual analog thing doesn't really work in like when you're looking at your character on screen. It works in a first-person shooter because you have the whole screen to be accurate with. But when you're trying to line up that shot and your character's a 2D character on the screen aiming at another 2D character, and you're trying to get like the angle difference of 15 versus 20 degrees between where you're at and where you want to aim, it becomes very difficult with an analog stick. It's super hard. So I'm not a huge fan of the controls. And, you know, controls are everything in a game, so that kind of knocks the score down for me a little bit. But the more I played it, I realized to myself, oh shit, this is actually just like, this game is like Earthworm Jim. Remember that game from back in the day? Where you play as a worm in a space suit and you run around shooting shit. It plays a lot like Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim was super floaty, very impactful. It made you feel cool when you were shooting a gun, but like the controls were kind of dog shit. And that led me down a rabbit hole, which is unrelated to Pedro, but we just gonna keep it moving. You know, the creator of Earthworm Jim was a guy called Doug Tennaple. I don't know if I'm saying that right. He created Earthworm Jim, right? As well as some other things that most people probably don't care about. But this guy ran into some issues back in the day. He was like, you know, he had remarks on the LGBTQ community, and he was, according to this Wikipedia, he was vocal opposition to same-sex marriage and intentionally misgendering a transgender journalist or whatever, which, you know, that could be hit or miss depending on which person you get. They could be like easily triggered and almost want to be triggered versus not. But yeah, he apparently he has written, which is a bummer for him, that transphobe, like homophobe, is a made-up word used to slander conservative people of faith with a mental condition, and is only used by SJWs, which is social justice warriors. Man, Tennaple don't give a fuck, huh? This cat is coming out like both guns blazing. So yeah, and apparently supported Donald Trump's presidency, whatever that means. And he has a YouTube channel owned by his son Ed, called Doug in Exile, where he talks about current political events, usually from a conservative perspective. So Doug Tennaple, creator of Earthworm Jim, super conservative religious guy who doesn't like gay people or trans people. That's kind of a bummer. And I found that out all because I played My Friend Pedro. Isn't that sad? Oh yeah, and one more thing about My Friend Pedro is Victor Agren. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It sounds like it's maybe from Finnish or some kind of Eastern European country. Victor Agren is the creator of My Friend Pedro, and he worked on Little Big Planet. Which makes a lot of sense because Little Big Planet had a similar sort of floaty control scheme. Ended up feeling more like you were playing a tool than playing a game. I wasn't a big fan of Little Big Planet. I mean, it was cool what they were doing with sort of like level building and all that stuff, but I couldn't get into it. So yeah, My Friend Pedro, I'd say it's a 6 or a 7. Yeah. But, I'm down to support. I'm always down to support indie devs. And I'm glad I got it, even if I'll probably never finish it. All right, that's it. Had a lot of talking in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Hope you had a good 4th. Right? People do that, right? Did you blow off a hand or a limb? Did you pass out drunk in the grass? What'd you do? Did you have a barbecue? I hope that was fun for you, even though we're way past that point. I hope you are getting outside, even though Diablo 4 is about to come out with another update, which is gonna just continue ruining your summer. Have you seen the sunlight since Diablo came out? Ask yourself that. Me, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna hit the beach. I'm gonna try to enjoy myself as much this summer. I beat Diablo, so I feel like I'm a little bit free of its grasp. You know what I mean? Now I can just play it casually. And I hope you all get there too. Good luck getting to level 50 or 100 if you're a crazy person and you have hours upon hours to kill. I'll see you all in the next episode. Reach out to me on social media. That's Greasy Says, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Under the name MQM-CUE on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Bandcamp. Wow, that was a weird order to go in. The old shit first and the new shit last. Okay. And remember to reach out to me with anything. Questions, games I should play, comments. Tell me to go fucking eat a croissant. At greasysays@gmail.com. All right? Send all your thoughts. You know what? Even if let's say you're a beat maker. You want to put your beat on Greasy Says and have people hear it, send me a beat. And of course, send me permission to use it freely and forever in perpetuity throughout the universe or whatever. But yeah, send me music if you want and I'll put it in the show. And also send me voicemails and I'll put those in the show. Yeah, Greasy people, thank you for coming out. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Please go subscribe, go comment, give the stars, give me feedback. Tell me to go fuck myself. And until next time, it's me, Greasy. And I'm checking out with the room key.
Bye-bye.